Under the slow-burning rise of an Arizona dawn, Elijah Mercer stood on the front porch of his weather-beaten ranch house, the desert stretching before him like an ancient, open book filled with secrets older than any man could grasp. And as he squinted into the horizon, he could still feel the memory of yesterday tug at him, the moment he stumbled upon two giant Apache sisters, Tala and Naya, their towering silhouettes framed by the crimson cliffs as they gathered desert herbs for their people's healer. He remembered how exhausted they looked from their long journey and how natural it had felt to offer them fresh cornbread still warm from his iron stove, beans cooked slow with sage and mesquite, and cold water drawn from the deepest part of his well, not as a bargain, not as an act of fear, but simply as a gesture born from the quiet kindness that had guided him all his life on the frontier. Now, as the sun climbed higher, throwing gold across the dry earth, a strange, shimmering movement appeared far off, where the land blurred with heat, and Elijah's breath faltered because the wavering shapes grew larger, clearer, until they formed a living tide of riders, hundreds upon hundreds of Apache warriors, their horses moving in perfect rhythm, their faces painted with marks of tradition and honor, their silence so complete it felt like the desert itself was holding its breath. Soon the ground trembled beneath Elijah's boots as 700 warriors surrounded his ranch in a vast circle, not threatening, not aggressive, but solemn, organized, purposeful, each rider motionless, as a carved spirit guardian watching over an ancient promise. And though any other man might have panicked at the sight, Elijah felt instead an overwhelming sense that something sacred, something far beyond ordinary understanding, was unfolding before him. Tala and Naya emerged at the front of the formation, their height striking, their braided hair flowing like black river water down their backs, their expression strong and calm as they stepped forward and placed their palms over their hearts, a gesture so intentional it made Elijah swallow hard. With a voice steady as canyon stone, Tala explained that their people had been observing him for many seasons, how he repaired broken wagon wheels for travelers without charge, how he had taken in an injured foal and nursed it back to life, how he walked the land with respect instead of claiming it with arrogance, how he offered help to anyone who came his way, regardless of tribe or origin, and how the simple act of feeding two of their sisters had carried deep meaning in their culture, for kindness given freely under the harsh sun was regarded as a gesture worthy of honor. Then Chief Nietzsche, regal and wise, stepped down from his painted stallion and approached Elijah slowly, holding an eagle feather, sash adorned with hand-carved beads that shimmered in the rising light. He placed the sash across Elijah's shoulders with reverence, declaring, in a deep, resonant tone, that Elijah had earned a place of brotherhood among their people, a title given only to those who walked a path of harmony, the rare souls who understood that life on the frontier could be shaped not by violence, but by humanity. As Nietzsche stepped back, the assembled warriors lifted their voices in a powerful chant, a sound that rose like a storm of wind and memory, echoing through the open desert in a harmony so ancient and moving that Elijah felt tears blur his vision, for it felt as if the very ground beneath him recognized the moment as a binding of spirits across two worlds. When the chant faded, Tala told him that from this day forward, their people would protect his ranch just as he had protected their sisters, and no harm would ever come to him as long as the desert winds carried the names of Tala and Naya. Elijah watched as the warriors slowly turned their horses and rode away in a wave of color and dignity, the thunder of hooves fading into the canyon distance until the land grew still again, leaving him standing on his porch, wrapped in the quiet aftermath of a moment so profound it felt as if the sun, the sand, and the sky themselves had woven him into the legend of the land. And as twilight finally came that evening, casting a soft amber glow over the plains, Elijah sat alone at the edge of his ranch, breathing in the warm desert air, knowing deep in his heart that a simple meal shared in kindness had changed the story of his life forever. binding him to 700 Apache warriors, not in fear, but in honor.